In today's video, I want to break down how you keep muscle and build muscle in a fat loss phase, especially as a natural bodybuilder. Hey guys, what's going on? This is Paul Ravella from ProPhysique.com, and I'm changing it up. I'm sitting in my truck. This was fresh on my mind. I got George here with me. So this question came to me today, and I was in the gym, and I thought this is such a good question because I think there's a fear of losing muscle, of not being able to add muscle while you're losing body fat. And I want to tell you that you can absolutely add muscle and lose body fat at the same time, especially under certain conditions, which we're going to talk about. But first, I want to put the question on the screen so you can see it, right? It basically just says, hey, Coach Paul, I'm in a dieting phase now, and I'm worried I'm going to lose muscle. How do you ensure that you keep your muscle or build muscle while in a fat loss phase, right? So there's a few really key contributors when it comes to building muscle while you're losing body fat or keeping muscle while you're losing body fat. First and foremost, muscle building is something that over time gets more challenging. But when you first start, it's amazing how the body responds. So if you want to build muscle while you're losing body fat, the less training you've done, the more likely that is to happen, which may sound odd to you, but I've had people come to me who have never really been into resistance training, have more than 100 pounds of body fat to lose, and we will lose copious amounts of body fat while adding muscle, okay? Now, this isn't always reflected very well on the scale because when you're adding lean body mass or fat-free mass, that has a lot of weight to it. So when you're losing body fat and you lose that weight, but you recomp and you're adding muscle at the same time, while they're two different tissues, the scale only reflects your relation to gravity on that scale. So dense muscle, which holds glycogen and has weight, is going to be similar in weight to some of our fat tissue, right? So yeah, while you're losing body fat and adding muscle, that'll happen. Now over time, that's going to become more challenging. So who has the best chance to build muscle and lose fat at the same time? Someone who's very new to resistance training, who has been terrible about their diet, and who has a copious amount of body fat to lose, okay? This is where you can get into some amazing recomps. And if you've seen the people from our 90-day transformation challenge, I'll show you someone on here like Dan Devine, who was one of our champions, someone like Drea Derbiano, one of our champions, and I'll have George put in a couple other people who have done very well in our challenges over the years. We see these things in 90 days where people lose 30 pounds or more of body fat, but yet when they're done, they look like they've added muscle. Why? Muscle is hidden by body fat. So when you lose this layer of fat that lays between the skin and the muscle, you see more details, right? You start to see more veins, and it gives the illusion that your muscles are bigger. It's not that they're bigger, they're just more visible. So when we're trying to recomp and add muscle, the keys are, one, the most important thing is the stimulus, okay? To add muscle, you have to stimulate it to grow. So today I went in the gym and I'll show you what I'm doing to grow. Guys, I'm 49 years old. I've been lifting weights for more than 30 years. I started lifting weights as a sophomore in high school, which was 1991. That's right, I was born in the 1900s. And what I've been able to do over the last 30 years consistently is add tiny, tiny, tiny amounts of muscle to where I have a decent amount of muscle on my frame. I'm actually very happy with my physique. I'll put a video in here recently of me just kind of flexing in the locker room after I was training. So yeah, I'm 210 pounds. I'm about 6'3". I'm probably around 10% body fat in that range. Some days I might be 8, some days I might be 12, but whatever it is. The point being is that I've spent the greater part of my life adding this muscle. I realize I'm not putting on 5 or 10 pounds of muscle at this point without some anabolics, and I'm still lifetime natural, right? No TRT, none of that, okay? Not that I'm opposed to it, I just haven't needed it. So today in the gym, I lifted more than I lifted last week. Last week I did the 110 pound dumbbells for 12. Today I did the 115 dumbbells for 10. Next week I'll probably try the 120s. So over the course of time, what I'm able to do is perhaps refine a little bit, perhaps continue to push myself in the gym, but that's how muscle building is done. It's going in the gym, pushing yourself, eating well, and recovering. So what did I say the first most important thing was is stimulus. If you don't stimulate the muscle to grow, it will not grow. The second part of that equation is your nutrition, okay? We have to have the nutrients to support the training and the recovery, okay? Now, this is something that we do include if you join our transformation challenge, right? We give you the deadline, we give you $25,000 if you win, and we also give you meal plans and training plans, more than 100, and we give you a private support group. Because what we're trying to do, and what I do as a coach, and if you are looking for a coach, I can help you with that too, directly one-on-one, but we're trying to provide this platform where we understand how much protein, how much carbs, how much fat, okay? They all play a role in success in bodybuilding. I did create a free macro calculator, which I've shared with you guys all the time. The goal for me here is to help you guys be self-sufficient, but sometimes you just need that kickstart. So when you see these amazing transformation challenge people, it's basically people that are getting the benefit of 30 years of me figuring crap out to get where I am now. I walk around now lean and strong year round. I used to fluctuate tons, 240 pounds down to 200 pounds, and I would never find that combo of how I could be strong and healthy and lean at the same time. You're getting that benefit from a challenge or from coaching that I've made all these mistakes, okay? So what is it? What is protein? Protein is the building blocks for all the cells in the body, not just the muscles, but if you want to break down the muscle and build it back stronger, yes, you're going to need some protein. What do I say focus on for protein? Focus on your goal weight. Whatever you want to weigh at the end of your fat loss phase, let's say you want to weigh 150 pounds and you're 200 pounds, 150 grams of protein a day is going to be plenty for your muscle building needs, okay? What about carbohydrates? I'm a big believer that your carbohydrates should be at least your body weight, if not higher, right? So I'm 210 pounds. I need at least 210 grams of carbohydrates a day. Now, the harder you train, the more active you are, the more that number might go up. There are days that I eat 500 to 600 grams of carbohydrates, even at this body fat level, okay? Sugar is not the enemy. Carbs are not the enemy. They are the preferred fuel source for your body, especially when it comes to performance in the gym. Glycogen is so powerful when it comes to performance. And guess what happens when you're performing in the gym? You're getting the stimulus to build more muscle. And again, fats, if you're not familiar with fats start the cascade of hormones that our body creates, to include, as a man, testosterone. So if your fats are in the wrong range, your carbohydrates are in the wrong range, your protein's in the wrong range, you might miss out on some progress that you're gonna get from the gym. So how do we ensure we're not losing muscle when we're dieting? Two things. One, don't lose fat too quickly, right? Now, if you are obese and you have hundreds of pounds of body fat to go, that is a different question. But if you're a man and you're 20% or under, you should be losing about 1% of your body weight per week. For a 200-pound man, what is that? 2 pounds per week, okay? This can be excruciatingly slow for some people, but you didn't ask me the fastest way to lose body fat. You asked me how to lose body fat and keep muscle. For that reason, you've got to be a little bit accountable to your diet, a little bit accountable to your training. The final piece for me is a form of cardio that allows your performance to be kind of the forefront when it comes to training. For this reason, I love my low intensity steady state, walking outside, walking on a treadmill. Even if I want to get more intense, you can walk on a treadmill with a rucksack. You can walk on an incline treadmill. You can do an elliptical. Finding some ways to get your heart rate up without beating you up. For this reason, I focus my intensity around the gym, which I'll show you some clips here. I kind of push myself hard, a couple sets to really ensure that I'm building muscle. For that reason, I don't want to do that when I'm doing cardio, right? I don't want to do a bunch of sprints. I don't want to do something that's going to kind of wreck me for the gym. And also at this point, I've been training long enough. I learned to auto-regulate. On the days when I feel strong, I'll push myself a little heavier. On the days when I feel beat up, I'll focus more on time under tension, getting a good pump, really good form. But those are skills that you learn, throughout a lifetime of lifting, which I feel like I figured out. So yeah, the only other thing I really want to say is muscle is very resilient. Once you build muscle, it's hard to get rid of it. So when someone says to me, like, I'm afraid I'm going to lose muscle, what you're more likely to do when you're losing body fat, because your carbohydrates are a little bit lower, your calories are a little bit lower, your cardio is a little bit higher, you might notice there are some days where the muscles are flat or they're not filled out because you're not getting a ton of glycogen. So some people associate that with muscle loss. That is not muscle loss. That is just a decrease in performance, a decrease in muscle size from a caloric deficit. The muscle is all still there. Research actually shows that it takes about 3 weeks of not training, zero stimulus, to start to notice a decrease in muscle size, or atrophy as it's called. So it's really difficult to lose muscle. So just make sure you're enjoying the process. Make sure you're creating an approach that is easily repeatable for you. When you're in the gym, what builds muscle keeps muscle. So keep doing the same workouts you've been doing. Keep challenging yourself along the way. I think most people are surprised to find out that they're still hitting PRs well into a fat loss phase, right? Because if you're doing it right and your nutrition is dialed in and your sleep is dialed in and your day is really planned ahead, and you can actually really see a huge change in strength and muscle going up when you enter a dieting phase. This is just my 2 cents, but most people don't put all their intensity into their diet and their training and their cardio until they're trying to lose body fat. And then they turn everything up to a 9 or a 10. But bodybuilders like myself, we tend to keep our training at an 8, 9, or a 10 year round. And that's kind of the difference. So if you can do those 2 things, you're going to see a lot of benefit to building muscle and keeping muscle during a fat loss phase. Okay. So yeah, if you guys have any questions, let me know. If you're curious what supplements I think benefit natural lifters, I'd love to help you out there, or actually all lifters. If you're interested in like what a meal plan could look like, let me know. I can do a video on that. Really just want to help you guys. So join the Transformation Challenge. If you're tired of spinning your wheels and you're tired of not really knowing what to do and not having a deadline, it starts next week and it's 90 days. And I can tell you, I'm going to be in there doing live videos starting from the beginning, answering questions, the entire coaching staff for Pro Physique. And my goal is to help you guys get the physique that you're after, like the people that have done our challenges. This week, I'm also going to be doing some interviews. So we're going to be talking to some of the people that placed in the top 3 and learn what their strategies were, their diet, their nutrition, and just show you some real world examples of what people look like when they lose body fat, add muscle, and at the end of the day, end up in a better place than when they started. That's the goal for the challenge. All right, guys, if you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, I hope you enjoy the workout footage. And I'm sorry for being douchey and taking my shirt off at the gym, but sometimes you just got to do what you got to do, man. All right, guys, talk to you tomorrow.